So you want to learn how to do a sun salutation? Well, you're in the right place. I'm Mallory, your yoga instructor, and I am here to teach you how to do a sun salutation. You find sun salutations in a lot of Vinyasa classes, even a few Hatha classes, and it's a great way to build heat and to start to warm up the body. And they're really easy to do and overall feel really good on the body. When you practice a sun salutation, it is the fundamentals of the physical asana practice. It contains a lot of different movements in the body to help strengthen and gain flexibility. All right, let's go over to the mat. We will start at the front of the mat in the pose called Samastitihi. You can say that with me. Samastitihi, which means equal standing pose. Or the other name for this pose, a very similar pose, is called Tadasana. Tadasana. This means mountain pose. Very often they can be used interchangeably, although technically they're not the same pose. But we'll go over two different feet variations that you can have in either one of these poses. The first one is traditional, which is the big toes touching, and you have about an inch of space in between the heels. This will help facilitate the forward fold we'll go into next. If that doesn't feel good on your body, you can bring the feet hips width distance apart. So coming up to the front of your mat and figuring out where you want your feet, either big toes to touch with a little space in the heels or feet hips width distance apart. And then allow the hands to come down, palms open to the front. We like the palms open to the front because what this does is help to open up the chest and have an external rotation for the arms for the next part of the pose, which is bringing the arms up. So finding your equal standing pose or mountain pose. We're grounding into all four corners of the feet, either side of the ball of the foot and either side of the heel. Ground into the floor. Use that energy to help lift you up. The quads are slightly engaged. The tailbone tucked just slightly under to help facilitate a lift up through the heart. And find your equal balance with your head over the rest of the spine. And I want you to take 5 breaths here. Feel into the feet. Feel the body strong and stable. This is the first pose of our sun salutation. Couple more breaths. The second pose to your sun salutation is called Urdhva Hastasana, which means upward facing hands. So we'll inhale, lift the arms high. Arms can be shoulder width distance apart if the shoulders are tight, or you can bring the hands to touch and the gaze can come up towards the thumbs. So your choice, depending on how open the back and the shoulders are. Once you arrive, lift up through the spine, create a little more space between each vertebrae. And then on your exhale, holding in the low belly, slowly forward fold. Arms can come out or they can stay forward. As you come down, if the hamstrings are tight, bend the knees a little bit. Allow the back to soften. As you gain more flexibility in the hamstrings, maybe the knees can start to lengthen and extend, and maybe the hands can plant on the ground. If your hands don't plant, you can come to the fingertips. You can just let the hands dangle. That's okay too. Our next pose is inhaling to a halfway lift. So inhale, halfway lift. Hands can be on the thighs, on the shins, or if you have the flexibility on the ground. The key here is the low belly is engaged. It's pulling in, and my heart is dropping down just a little bit to help lengthen through the spine. My head is neutral, so sometimes the head tends to dangle or we arc it up too much. Do your best to keep it neutral. Hold here for a couple of breaths. And then on your next exhale, fold forward again. In Sanskrit, we call this Uttanasana. Uttanasana, our forward fold. Now plant the hands. Allow your weight to come into the hands, into the shoulders, and we're going to take a step back into a high plank. And hold your high plank. You want the hips in line with the shoulders, and you're protracting the shoulders. See how my upper back is a little rounded? I'm using the shoulder strength to push away. My quads are engaged. My core is engaged. So hold here. This is a strong pose. My head is still in line with the rest of my spine. On your next inhale, rock forward slightly, and then exhale, we'll come into chaturanga. So elbows stay in, they track by the sides. This first one, we're gonna lower all the way down onto the belly, and I'm gonna uncurl the toes. Your next pose is traditionally Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, which means upward facing dog. So when we come on the tops of the feet, lift the knees and lift up. If your body is not ready for this pose, you can take a full cobra, keeping the quads down, or you can take a low cobra, using the back muscles a little bit more, helping to elongate the back and strengthen the back. So those are your options for this next pose. And then on your next exhale, you can curl the toes under, use the core, push into the hands to lift the hips up and back. Down dog. In Sanskrit, it is Adho Mukha Svanasana. In your down dog, it's okay if the heels are lifted. It's okay to bend the knees to help elongate the back. You really want a long back to help open up the heart before you worry about straightening the legs. Very often people will start to straighten the legs and then you get this big rounding in the back. I always say it's better to bend those knees so you can lift the tailbone up and elongate the back. And then over time, as the body opens, those heels will reach closer to the ground. So feel into your down dog. You can let the head fully go here. Allow the neck to relax. We're grounding into all the knuckles. Couple more breaths. Traditionally, we take 5 breaths in down dog. And then on your next inhale, we're going to look forward in between the hands, a little past the hands. I like to come high on my toes, then bend the knees, and then step one foot forward, and then the other foot forward. If you don't have the hip flexibility for that, that's okay. Take a couple steps. Walk it forward, bend into the knees. Feet can be hips width distance apart, or you can have the big toes to touch and a little space in the heels. Knees can stay bent for your forward fold if you need, or if your body's okay with it, you can straighten through the knees. We'll inhale, halfway lift. If you can get your full lift and straight spine with the fingers down, keep the fingers or the full palm planted. If that's not available for your body, bring hands to shins or the thigh. Use the core. On your next exhale, fully forward fold. And then inhale, rise it all the way up, arms up overhead. And then exhale back to Tadasana, your mountain pose. So that's it. That's the basics of your sun salutation. We generally practice sun salutations with one breath to one movement, so that the breath guides the body, not the mind. In a yoga class, you'll often hear sun salutation said in the Sanskrit word, which is Surya Namaskara A, for Sun Salutation A, which is this first one that we're doing. There's two different, well, there's more than two different types, but we have an A and a B. I'll cover B in another video, but for now it's A. So practice saying that with me. Surya Namaskara A. One more time. Surya Namaskara A. Surya Namaskara A. Okay. Let's come back to our mat and do just a quick practice. Practicing Sun Salutation A can be a whole practice in and of itself. If you're just doing that to get onto your mat for about 5 minutes just to move your body and warm the body up, I recommend doing 5. The traditional is 3 to 5 Sun Salutations to start to get the blood flowing. It's great for the lymphatic system and get all the different parts of the body moving and grooving. So let's do 3 together, and we're going to do the first one a little slower like we did just now, and then the last 2 we're going to work on 1 breath, 1 movement. So coming back to the front of your mat in Tadasana, your mountain pose. Taking a breath here, grounding into the feet. We're going to inhale, Urdhva Hastasana, bringing the arms high. Stay here for a cycle of breath. Feel the rib cage expanding up. On your exhale, we're going to forward fold, coming into Uttanasana, your forward fold. Stay here for a few breaths. Hands can relax down. Hands can be on feet, or if they're just dangling. If this is your Uttanasana, that's okay. Breathe into the hamstrings, into wherever you feel this most in the body. On your next inhale, coming up, halfway lift, keeping hands down, coming up onto the fingertips, or hands to the shins or thighs, depending on where your flexibility is at. Meeting yourself where you're at. Couple more breaths. Use the core, hug in low belly. On your next exhale, come into your forward fold again. Plant your hands, bend your knees as much as you need to get those hands planted. Bring your weight into the shoulders a little bit more. And then step back, high plank. Hold your high plank. Feel strong in this pose. This is a great strength building pose. This is the foundation for any arm balances you may want to do. On your next inhale, rock forward a little bit. Exhale, chaturanga. Now instead of coming down to the belly, see if you can hover. Halfway, really engage the quads, engage the core. If you need to come all the way down, that's okay. And then inhale, choose. Do you want to do a low cobra? You want to do a high cobra, keep those shoulders down, or come into full up dog. Couple breaths here. And then on your exhale, lift the hips up and back, down dog. Couple breaths in your down dog. On your next inhale, looking forward, we're going to use the core to bring those feet forward to the hands, coming right into your halfway lift. Exhale and fold. Inhale, rise it all the way up, arms up overhead, and exhale, releasing the hands down. There you go. You did a Surya Namaskara A. Let's do 2 more. Now a little more traditional. 1 breath, 1 movement. Try and make your breath as long as you can and let the breath initiate the poses, not the poses initiate the breath. Okay, Tadasana at the front of your mat. Inhale, lifting the arms high. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands, step the feet back, lower down, chaturanga. Inhaling up dog or cobra. Exhale, down dog. 5 breaths in your down dog. Long inhales and long exhales. Last breath. Inhale, looking forward and using the core to bring the feet forward. Once you arrive, coming right into your halfway lift. That's all on the same inhale. Exhale, forward fold. And then inhale, rise it all the way up, arms up overhead. And exhale, release the hands down. Let's go right into our last one. Inhale, rising it up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhaling, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands, step it back, lower down, chaturanga. Inhaling, up dog or cobra. Exhale, down dog. 5 breaths in your down dog. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. On your next inhale, looking forward, bringing the feet forward, coming into your halfway lift. Exhale and fold. Inhale, rise it all the way up, arms up overhead. And exhale, release the hands down. And that's it. You did it. So I encourage you, if you'd like to keep practicing those, go on, keep practicing those. Maybe do 3 more at your own place. Surya Namaskara A's is a great way to tune into the body, to assess where you're at, to build heat for the rest of your practice. If you have any more questions, please leave them down in the comments. I love you all so much. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye for now. Hello, I'm Mallory Reese. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy day to practice with me and give back to yourself. If you would like to support my efforts in spreading the healing energy of yoga and infusing that with astrology, human design, the gene keys, essential oils, I would love your support. Down below in the description, you can find the links to my Patreon, as well as links to the props that I use. I do earn small commissions for that, but it keeps me being able to pour my energy into offering all of these free classes for you. So thank you again for your support. I am eternally grateful. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye for now.